Well, I don't think there's a seat really in this massive stadium that hasn't been bought because they wanted to see Usain Bolt.
They're already standing, Steve. It's already a standing ovation all round the stadium.
The final walk for these 8 athletes who will line up in this men's 100-metre final. There's Jimmy Vico of France leading the way. He'll line up in lane number 3. Mascot hero doing a headstand. Causing some amusement for the men's 100-metre finalists. The crowd have already started. Usain Bolt is already beginning to be chanted around the London Stadium. Many of this crowd may have witnessed his gold medal winning performances in London 2012. Many wouldn't, but as Steve said, millions around the world are tuning in to watch the final individual race of the fastest man of all time. He says it's going to be an emotional time for him, and that's understandable. In athletics, we've known of him for a long time. The World Junior title he took at 15 years old in 2002 seems a lifetime ago now in track and field, doesn't it? But look what he's achieved since in our sport.
And indeed, he was a superstar before he even ran his first ever 100 meters race. And this, of course, is this distance. And what a superstar he proved immediately when he turned to that distance, following his early successes at 400 and at 200. Now his big moment.
I think it's pretty courageous too to say you're going out after you've taken part in an event like this. You could say it, you know, sorry, it's not before you're taking part. You could say it after when you win, but he said it now, so he's really got to put the pressure on himself to do well.
One at a time into the arena, starting with the man contesting his first global final.
So the men's 100-metre final, the glitz and the glamour of the athletes being introduced. In lane number 9, a massive roar for the 21-year-old Reece Prescott from Great Britain and Northern Ireland. An outstanding championships for this British new athlete. Whatever happens, he's a world finalist. Sue of China. Jimmy Vico of France. 986 at his best. Justin Gatlin from the USA. 5 successive Olympic or World Championship silvers behind Usain Bolt. Johan Blake from Jamaica, the second Jamaica in this final. 10:04 in the semi-final, a former world champion. Akane Simbini of South Africa, 5th in Rio, the South African record holder. Christian Coleman, the fastest man in the world this year from the USA, the fastest qualifier from the semi-finals. And listen to the roar. The fireworks are lit. The flashbulbs are going mad. The familiar smile of the fastest man the world has ever seen. The chanting starts again. Usain Bolt will line up in lane number 4.
How our sport's going to miss him, aren't we? Eh, really? There's a massive, massive gap when he goes. It really is.
Well, they'll do their final preparations. Blocks will be put in place. Bolt himself wasn't happy after the first round proper with the starting blocks. The adjustments would have been made. The practices, no doubt, on the warm-up track would have been made with the blocks. The bright spikes, the flashy spikes. Inside these spikes on the insole, every major gold medal performance is printed. The place, the event, the winning time. It's a good job he's got big feet, right? Because there's a lot to fit in those pair of shoes. All the global medals, 11 world golds, 8 Olympic golds.
And this is it. Individually, this is it. the very last time in a competitive context that Usain Bolt will explode, hopefully, from the blocks. Just the relay to come after this. And that is why so many people have made their way in to this stadium. What a privilege for the tens of thousands gathered here. Nobody will ever forget they were here and saw the very last individual race.
Down in front of us, to our left, as you look at a shot, a beautiful shot of the London Stadium, Usain Bolt pushes out, tests his blocks, and gives the crowd a round of applause. There's Christian Coleman. He'll line up in lane number 5. Has the American got the mental strength to dethrone, on his last individual race, the fastest man of all time? There's your lineup then once again for the final of the men's 100 metres. For the final time, you'll see the name of Usain Bolt in an individual lane. The atmosphere here in London is electric. So here's your lineup for the men's 100-metre final. Bing Jianzhu of China starts in lane number 2. Jimmy Vico of France, 7th in Rio last year, 8th in Beijing 2 years ago. The French athlete starts in lane number 3. He's 31 years old in a couple of weeks. The greatest of all time, 9.58 over 100, 19.19 over 200. The 11-time world champion goes in 4. Lane 5, Christian Coleman, world leader, 9.82 seconds. Fastest to qualify for this final. In lane 6, Akane Simbini of South Africa would have been buoyed by the 2 medals that his teammates just won in the long jump. Lane number 7, Johan Blake, the equal second fastest of all time, 9.69 seconds. In lane number 8, a silver medalist in Rio last year, a world champion over the 100 and 200 metres in 2005, Justin Gatlin from the USA, and completing the lineup. A wonderful reception for Reece Prescott of Great Britain, the UK champion, a personal best in his heat of 10.03, qualifying for the men's 100-metre final. The final individual race from the greatest of all time. Can the ending of his amazing journey have the fairy tale finish? The final of the men's 100 metres. For one last time, Usain Bolt settles in his blocks over the 100-metre distance. Well, it's a clean start. It's a good start by Coleman. The American's flying in lane number 5. It's the American leading the Jamaican at the moment. It's going to be Coleman, but on the outside in lane number 8, unofficially 9.94 seconds. Well, was it Gatlin in lane number 8? Was it Coleman in lane number 5? The crowd drops. Justin Gatlin, with a time of 9.92 seconds, is the world champion here in London. The 5th fastest of all time at 9.74 seconds. The American athlete out of lane number 8 was poised, was controlled. His teammate Christian Coleman, 2/100ths of a second behind, picks up the silver for a US 1-2, and Usain Bolt in his final individual race runs 9.95 seconds for bronze. The fairy tale in the individual event wasn't to be for the Jamaican. It was a close race, but America get 1 and 2.
Well, the fairy tale was all through his career, really, as far as I was concerned. Yes, it would have been wonderful to finish on a gold medal, but in the end, it's a tough race. He came into this race knowing he wasn't in the best shape because he wanted to be here in London. He wanted to be here and be in front of his crowd to finish off his event. And look at the way that he's getting a reception from the crowd. Absolutely fantastic.
The whole stadium are stunned. Justin Gatlin, after 5 successive silver medals behind Usain Bolt, is the champion of the world. Coleman held his nerve brilliantly. Such an inexperienced athlete internationally. He took the silver. It's not the fairy tale we were expecting, but we should still celebrate, commemorate, and revel in all that Usain Bolt has brought to our sport for the last 10 years. There will never be another like him, even if, at the end, it reads the last individual medal as bronze instead of gold.
Still the biggest multiple medal winner in the history of men's World Championships. This is his 14th, and of course, every chance of winning another, and he ties Merlin-Ottey on the women's record as well. And Gatlin now, the most medals at 100 metres in World Championships history with 4.
Well, I mentioned Usain Bolt burst onto the world stage, winning that World Junior title at 15 years old. And he will leave with sprint times that may stand the test of time for potentially many, many years to come. Usain St. Leo Bolt, we thank you for everything you've done over the last few years in our sport, still to come hopefully in the relay. But wow, it was a race that Bolt and Coleman were battling in their own little battle, weren't they, Steve, in the centre of the track? And Justin Gatlin dragged on all his experience to pull it out the bag here in London and grab the gold in a world title some 12 years after he won it in 2005.
Well, we were just watching the middle of the field, I suppose, and it looked at one stage as if Usain was coming through strong, but perhaps over the last 2 or 3 metres, the strength that he didn't have in his legs let him down a little bit.
Look at how much ground Usain Bolt had to make up from that poor start. Coleman was putting him under huge pressure. He was sensing Vico as well. This was the section of the race at which for the last 10 years we've seen him soar past everyone. It just wasn't there tonight, and maybe he really is bowing out at the right time. However, there's one more chance for gold, not individually, but the relay still to come.
Well, he's talking to the crowd here, thanking them for the support that they've given him. He does love racing in London. And let's not forget, he did talk about retiring after the Rio Olympic Games and then had a change of heart and concentrating just on the single event that he said is easiest to train for, which was the 100 metres. So to even have him here in London and talking about him for another season, of course, has been a pleasure. But the tightness in his shoulders, Peter, we never see Usain Bolt tight like that, do we?
No, we'd hoped, I think, perhaps above hope, after the semi-finals, that he really was back to something near the sort of form which would take him to gold. It wasn't to be. I suppose that's a bit of an anticlimax. I suppose there'll be a lot of sadness among the crowd, but it is time to pay tribute to a superlative, wonderful career which has transcended athletics as one of the great superstars of world sport that we've ever seen.
You've only got a short life, I think, on this earth. And if you can experience something like that, this man and his career over the time that you've been here, I think you've been very privileged indeed.
Well, indeed, and as an athlete, you only have a small window of opportunity, don't you, to perform at a high level, whether you're stopped through injury or illness. Sometimes the window's not open as long as you'd like. But for Usain Bolt, since 2008, when he burst on the scene and in world terms for the public and broke the world records, his list is absolutely endless, and it's been a pleasure for all of us to witness the career of the greatest of all time. And hopefully we'll see him in the relay towards the end of the championships. But every single person here tonight, as you said, Rob, has seen Usain Bolt run his last individual race and gets a chance to say thank you as well.
You've hit the nail on the head, Catherine, because yes, It's the result that none of us expected, least of all him, I should think. He still goes down as the greatest sprinter in history, even if he's finishing with an individual bronze medal over the 100 metres. He has absolutely transcended the boundaries of sport. He says he wants to be remembered as someone who could be considered in a conversation alongside the likes of the late, great Muhammad Ali and Pele. Well, he is in those conversations, and when he's seen around the world in whatever guise it may be in the future, as an ambassador for athletics, as an actor, as a footballer, whatever it is he wants to do next, he will be revered, he will be treasured, not just by Jamaica, but by sports fans all around the world, because he's done it right from the very start with an incredible sense of fun, and he's taken everyone with him on a journey that none of us will ever forget.
And if you look at individually his season of 2017, it's not been an easy one for him even to get to this point to race and challenge for a medal. Injury problems, the passing of his close friend, Olympic silver medalist high jumper Jermaine Mason. He lost 3 weeks of training, mourning the loss of his good friend. So such is the level, the talent and the testament to Usain Bolt that he's come and delivered another major championship medal. And a word on Christian Coleman as well, though, picking up a silver medal, the young American. He's forfeited his last year at the University of Tennessee. He's turned professional. He's just signed a 7-figure 3-year contract with a sportswear company. Is he the future? When you look at Gatlin's age as well now, because Gatlin's getting older and older, he's not going to be around for a long time. I think that Christian Coleman actually committed himself and performed above and beyond where his experience should have normally allowed him to have done.
Well, particularly after the extremely hectic demands of a collegiate season, which he's faced all through this year, to maintain that form in the ultimate challenge with the World Championships, with the eyes of the world on that particular race. Yes, that's testimony to a superstar of the future.
Yeah, in a way, I don't know, I just feel sad at this moment. Not that the fact that he's lost, just the fact we're losing him, full stop. And that's something which I can't come to terms with, I'm sorry, because everywhere you go in athletics, every time you go to a major championship, this man has been so entertaining. And I can't see how we can replace him.
No, that charisma can never be replaced, I'm sure. There'll be great athletes, but the combination, and look at those scenes there, really.
I'm sure that was his mum, his mother under the scrub. There she is in the centre there.
Yes.
His mum and dad have travelled, of course, and been so supportive throughout his whole career. How proud must they be of their little boy?
Well, little boy, yeah, but he's actually changed the way people look at the 100 metres. It used to be thought that this was a race for short, squat men who could get away quickly, and the rest of it relatively short. Maurice Green, say, at 5'10" or whatever. But Bolt's height, some people say, well, you can't run 100 metres if you're as tall as that. He can, could, has done.
He's coming to you, just back off.
The only point we haven't made, and we haven't made it because we haven't seen him lose in a major championship since Osaka 10 years ago. Look at how gracious he is in defeat. Look at how much time he's giving everyone with the selfies. Rudyard Kipling said, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters still the same, then you'll be a man, my son. And how proud his parents must be. Yes, it's a bronze and it's not the gold. He's still bringing joy to everyone who has paid money to be here and part of history tonight. And history, it still is. Not the history we'd planned on seeing, not the history we hoped that would be written, but it's history nonetheless.
Between myself and Steve, we're getting emotional. I can't look at Steve Ovett at the moment. He's going to set me off crying. It is emotional, though, isn't it? Because, as you say, Steve, it's emotional. We've been blessed to watch him for so many years. He's become such a big part, as Peter said, of our sport. I'm sure and I hope he'll stay involved in some shape or form. I wonder how much relief he has in him now, though, because he's done what he wanted to do. He's now going to bow out, and I think it's fair to say he enjoys his life off the track, and quite rightly so as well, when you've worked as hard as he has over the years. And there's still thousands in here, isn't there, still chanting Usain Bolt's name, because they know that it's the last time individually they're going to see him.
I don't think there's anything more we can say. As you said, I'm getting sort of quite emotional, which is rare for me, trust me. And Kath, well, Kath's in tears. Rob is never in tears, but I think he's been quiet, which I think for Rob is summing it up, really. And I can't say much more than that.
I guess, like everyone else, I'm stunned that it wasn't the golden finish we were all expecting. And I'm sure what we're feeling in the commentary box is exactly what people are feeling in bars, in their homes, in sports clubs, all around the world. No matter what the time difference, perhaps you've had to stay up into the middle of the night to watch this last individual race from Usain Bolt. He's shown a touch of humanity, humility and class this evening, despite the fact that he is no longer the world champion over 100 metres.
So they chant again, and they will do until they lose sight of him. They're going to still chant his name. But confirmation then of the result of the men's 100 metres. Gold to the USA with Justin Gatlin. Silver also to the USA with Christian Coleman. Usain Bolt picks up a bronze. It's the season's best. It's another medal for the collection. And Johan Blake from Jamaica comes in fourth in that final.